All right. uh, I had not. I had it plugged in, which is a good thing. I made sure it was plugged in. I just didn't have the camera up on top of the laptop. So there we are. Good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope everybody's having a good week. I've been freaking just. It's been a little busy. I've been a little busy here. Well, I'm trying to put things in place in trying to get ready with things, and it's just it's like I said, it's just trying to. We got some. Well, today again, it was overcast today. There was a couple sprinkles earlier. It's actually raining now, which it wasn't supposed to. I actually got to look at that forecast and see what the heck is going on. Hold on one second. Okay. So we're saying Thursday's going to be decent, Friday decent, 40% chance of rain on Saturday, 30% on Sunday. But yeah, temperatures aren't going to be bad. But anyway, so before well, let's do our introduction first, and then we'll talk a little bit, and then we'll get into the topic of this video. Other things, obviously, to talk about as well. The Fed raised the interest rates 0.75% again for the fourth month in a row, and we're going to talk about what that means and all that good stuff. And so we will get into that as well. All right. So before we jump into anything else, I just want to remind everybody that this is a very family friendly oriented channel. I would ask everybody to please be decent in the chat, no racism, no nastiness. If you can't abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people that you see lit up in blue will boot you out of here because we are not going to have it. All right. So, all right. So first of all, I had to couple things that I plan, like I said, that I plan on working on now that I'm back down here in West Virginia. I want to get the camper skirted, and so today I had to run. So what you have to understand, okay? So for me to run anywhere to go do anything, nothing is around the corner. I live out in the middle of nowhere, which is I like it, and that's why I'm at. And yeah, Okie Forge, we're going to talk about that. Uh, so I like that part of it, but unfortunately, when you want to get any kind of supplies or do anything, go grocery shopping, get gas, whatever the case may be, it's a trek to do any of that. So I ran to Lowe's today and I got some foam board insulation, and so I will be. I bought 6 sheets of it, 8 foot long, 4 foot high. So we'll see how that does. Some of the sections, I don't need is high, so hopefully we'll have to see how it all pans out. But we'll get it figured out. But it's we're gonna get that taken care of. That's gonna be something that I will be working on. Obviously, I'm going to continue to be working on the bunker as well. And so, there, like I said, there's other running that had to be done today again. I have a few things tomorrow that I have to do as well, unfortunately, but that's all part of it. So, all right, so let's talk about what we'll talk about first before we get into the 13 billion for helping people with heating this winter. We're going to talk about this first. The Fed raised the interest rate for the fourth time in a row, fourth meeting in a row, because there was the one meeting they didn't have a month they didn't have a meeting. So, but for the fourth meeting in a row, they raised the interest rate by 0.75 percentage point. So, what does that mean, right? So, let's talk about who it does not affect. Let's talk about who it does not affect. People that don't borrow money, right? That would be one of the groups that don't affect. And who doesn't borrow money? Rich folks, right? They got money. They don't need to borrow money. So they don't. So the raising interest rates really does not affect them very much. I mean, maybe on a credit card, but again, if they're effectively paying their stuff off all the time, it doesn't really bother them. It's not a big deal to them. Who it's affecting is us, the rest of us. Everyday people, if you want to go out and try to get a loan for a car, if you want to get a loan for a truck, if you want to get a house loan, a mortgage, with that interest rate going up, up, and up like that, it's going to cost you more money to borrow money. That's a straight, simple fact. I mean, there's nothing, um, surprising with that at all. So, that is definitely something that is got to pay attention to. Got to pay attention to it. And so, not a fun time, not a real good time at all. And but what are you going to do? I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing that we can do to affect it. And yeah, don't worry about my finances. I have a Powerball ticket. Well, I'm going to tell you what, beef and chicken, you're going to watch me with the winning ticket here with the Powerball. 1.2 billion. And I'm sure before the drawing goes tonight, it'll probably be even higher. That's insane, insane money, insane money. I could get used to having that kind of insane money, but yeah, we are headed for a Great Depression 2.0. Janet, I agree with you 100%. Things are getting tough. Things are getting much, much harder for Joe average citizen, and it's not a good thing at all. Sonia says, I'm not affected. I don't have any debt. I'm saving money to pay cash for a car so I don't have to pay interest. Very smart, honestly. That's a smart way to do it. But, you know, yeah, it's definitely, yeah, I agree with you, Viking Prepper. I agree with you on that situation. I've seen some other content since then. It makes you definitely question uh question what really happened in those type of situations out there in California. So, yeah, very interesting. Not making any kind of judgment, not doing that. I'm just saying it's very interesting. So, but anyway, with the interest rates going up like that, it's going to affect, like if you have credit cards and you have any kind of debt on credit cards, they're going to raise, like you're locked in where you're at. That's great. But if you're trying to get a new card, if you're looking to get a new card, it's going to cost you more interest rate wise to be able to get that card. And I don't know how they get away with the interest rates on some of these cards that they get away with. It's absolutely crazy, absolutely crazy. So yeah, I'm rooting for Philadelphia in the World Series because Houston is cheaters. They cheat, so don't like that. And they screwed the Yankees the one year because that's how they got to the World Series because they cheated. So, but what are you gonna do? It happens. They got away with it. So. Uh, will everyone in the chat get a bit when you win, Ed? No, Donna, they will not. No, they will not. Uh, but anyway, well, and it's funny. To get completely off topic just for a minute here. So we got 333 in the chat, guys. We're at 89 thumbs up. So first of all, if you have not shot a thumbs up, please do so to show support for the channel, and thank you ahead of time. I do appreciate that. Also, it makes a real big difference with the algorithms, and so thank you for that as well. Uh, it really makes a difference with pushing us up in the rankings. So again, if you do the thumbs up for that reason as well. Also, yeah, it has to go into, yeah, a lot of it would go into the property. Hope, yes, it would. Um, but and then I would be buying more property. It definitely would be buying more property. Uh, anyway, but again, it's if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. So, Ed, we've been trying to close on our property since July and have been on one delay after another. We have until this Friday to get our rate locked, so then it goes up. Wow. Yeah, hopefully that works out for you. I hope everything works out for you guys. Yeah, that would suck because the interest rate, with the increase of the interest rate, that really hurts, uh, you know, long term when you're trying, like I said, trying to get all that stuff done. So one thing I was going to mention, and it was like all in the news. They said the pitcher for Houston was tipping his pitches yesterday, and so they were saying that Philadelphia had realized he was tipping his pitches, so they were talking amongst themselves, and so and somebody said, "Well, that's cheating." No, that's part of the game. If the pitcher is not adjusting properly, and you can figure out what he's going to throw, then that's on him, not on you. So that's not, to me, that's not cheating. That's part of the game. It's just like when they used to have the guy on second base and he would lean his hips one way or the other so that the hitter would know that the pitcher was going to go inside or outside. That's also part of the game. So, it's just, but anyway, I don't understand how raising interest rates helps the people. It doesn't, Wolfang. It doesn't help the people. They're saying that it's being done to try to get inflation under control. All right. Because what they want to do, they want to stop you from borrowing. They want to stop you from going out and getting loans and stuff like that. Because if it costs that much more, to get a loan and the interest rate is that much higher, a lot of people are going to be like, nope, I'm not doing it right now. But, for them to do the kind of increases in the rate like they've done, that's insanity. That is insanity. But it sure helps the banks, doesn't it now? Right? Because, it's not our fault. The Fed raised the rate, so we have to raise our rates. It's just, the Fed even wants to see more unemployment to slow inflation. That's why Okie Ford just said that. Yeah, the situation's not good. It's definitely not good. And, you know, are we headed to a full blown recession? I'll just put it like this: it wouldn't shock me. I wouldn't be shocked. I think we might already be in the throes of it already, and it's just not being called that yet. That's just my assessment of it. Doesn't mean that I'm 100% right, but that's just what I see. So, all right. So let's talk about this whole thing with the supposed wonderful help from our government to help with people, people with heating cost and all this type of stuff. Uh, the Braves and Michael Jackson. That's funny, also. I like that. That's actually very funny. Um, so according to there's going to be 13 billion in financial assistance for low income people to help with heating costs this winter. So I was reading some information on that. Now, if you guys remember, heating costs last year were up a lot last year as well. They're saying that like 50 50 something percent, I can't remember what the percentage was, might be 58% of people. Oh God, I'm trying to remember what the number was. Something like 50 something percent. It was more than half of the people use natural gas to heat their homes. And they were talking that would be an increase of 28% in the cost of heating their homes this winter. Another thing, I have a friend of mine that they use coal, so they use wood and they also use coal. Okay. And their cost of buying coal, it's 40% higher and this year than it was from last year. So the problem is this: the prices of heating oil, natural gas, uh, you know, coal, all those things, everything is up. So if they're helping, and they're talking about helping, and they're getting 9 billion of that money from the whatever thing they just all passed that they passed through Congress and the Senate. What was that? I'm trying to think of the name of the bill that they passed. Helping the environment bill, crap, whatever it was. I can't remember what it was called. Can you guys, somebody on here, tell me what that was that they just passed? That was like trillions of dollars, 1 point something trillion. Build back better, maybe. I don't know, something, whatever it was that they did. Okay. Um, let's see, somebody. But anyway, so they passed that bill. They're taking Inflation Reduction Act. Thank you, Janet. Nice. Yep. Yep. Thank you. I just was absolutely going blank on what it was called. So they passed that. They got all this money. They're taking 9 billion of that money. So again, let's be clear. Where does 9 of that billion coming from? Well, of course, it's coming from our tax dollars, and I'm sure the rest of it from that bill. And I'm sure that the rest of it will come from our tax dollars as well. But they're talking about $13 billion to help low income families. What about everybody else? What about everybody else? What about the people? Here, I know here's a weird concept, right? Here's a weird concept. Awesome. 20 million Americans are at threat for power to be turned off due to unpaid power bills. I laid some numbers of eggs. I laid the same number of eggs on thick neck. Oh my God, that's funny. Yeah, that's a lot of people though, Asif. And thank you very much for that information. And thank you for the donation as well. I do appreciate that. What about the people that go to work every single day, that bust their butts, that work hard, that are trying to keep their head above water, right? And their expenses. Now, like an example, like again, I'm going to go back to my friend. Her and her husband, they both work. That hasn't changed, but the cost of getting coal for this winter to heat their home to stay warm has gone up by 40%. Do you think their pay went up by 40%, folks? Do you think their pay went up at all? Probably not. Probably not. So it is, even economists said it won't really reduce inflation, will actually make the economy worse. I I don't disagree with that either, Randy Romines. I just think that the whole situation is a bad, bad situation that, I it'll be interesting to see what happens with this election cycle. Do I have faith in the system? Not really. You guys know how I feel about the whole system. Propane 329 delivered in pre-buy. Now is that, I don't know if that's up or down from it's got to be up too. I know that everything else like heating oil I know is up ridiculously high. Um, so I don't know with the other stuff too. Inflation is a hidden tax. Well, it's definitely costing people. That is for sure. The cost of health insurance increased tremendously due to the two-year problem. Well, Vicky, I'm going to tell you what. I'll give you an example, and I've talked about this before with you guys a little bit way back. So when I was working doing nursing, I was doing home care, and I was doing Medicaid cases. And the way that it worked with Medicaid cases, and I'll explain this to you because it's not that it's so in New York State, if you get Medicaid certified, and I was Medicaid certified, it's a decent hourly rate. Okay, so you get paid a decently hourly rate. There is no time and a half. So if you work 40 hours or you work 60 hours, the rate of pay does not change. So that's one of the things that is the drawback, if you will, of doing Medicaid cases. But you're able to do home care, and you can take care of people that way, and you can make you were I was making a decent living doing that. Well, I'll give you an example. So I was paying for my family's insurance, me, the kids, and Amy, right? I paid that out of pocket. At first, it wasn't too bad. I was, and I say this, it wasn't too bad. It started out at 495 a month. That's what I was paying for health insurance for the family. Realistically, you got young kids, they got to go get their checkups and do all that. If there's any kind of an emergency or whatever happens, we had the insurance. Every year, every year that insurance was increasing between 15 and 20% increase every single year. It got to a point, and then on top of that, my pay never changed. So where in the beginning I could get away with working 40, 45 hours a week, but by the time we got to that point where me and my ex went our separate ways, it just got to where it was undoable anymore. I mean, the payments for the health insurance were insane. And then somebody else made a mention of something, and the taxes go up every year, right? So your property taxes are going up every single year. Your pay stays here, and everything else is going up. They're charging you more for car insurance, everything else. I mean, it was insanity. You were digging a hole that you couldn't get out of, and unfortunately, that's a situation a lot of people are in right now. They're in a hole that they can't dig their way out of. And so, I mean, that was part of one of the reasons why I needed to change every aspect of my life, for my own mental health, and to be able to try to survive and not just get further and further and further in a hole. When you're working 66 hours a week and every month you're getting further behind instead of getting ahead, there's something wrong with that picture. And the reality is, how long, realistically, how long can you work those kind of hours? You burn out. You absolutely burn out. And I burned out. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I burned out. I worked, so I want you to think about this, an equivalent of 10-year period of time. If somebody else was working a 40-hour work week, what I did in 10 years, it would take them 15 years. That was the equivalent. And I got to a point where I couldn't do it anymore. I was so burnt and so tired of just, the grind. And it was, one day a week off, and, just crazy hours. And it got, like I said, it got very, very old. And so, uh, you know, something had to give. And so, unfortunately, it cost a lot for everything. But, it is what it is. And things went the way they were meant to go. And I feel personally that if I had continued on that path that I was doing, I would have either had a stroke or a heart attack by now at this point. I really do believe that, because high stress. And I want you guys to think about this too. And right now, a lot of people are in this position, and this is why I'm talking about this. Ed, you bring in bigger propane tank for the trailer. Two 30-gallon tanks will last you about 4 to 5 days of consistent heating. What I'll yeah, I'm gonna definitely get in some bigger tanks, JJ. That's part of the plan that I want to do, because I know I need to have bigger tanks, especially if I'm going to be heating more, as we, get into the colder weather. Like right now, I don't have the heat on at all right now, so and it's comfortable still, but we're going to be getting into those cold weather months, and so I was actually thinking of getting 100-gallon tanks. To be honest with you, I know it's going to cost me to get the tanks themselves, but it would be worth it in the long run. So, but anyway, going back to what I was saying here, guys, there's a lot of people in this situation right now. Stress is a killer. Stress is the absolute worst possible thing that you could try to deal with. And with everything going up, people trying to keep their heads above water, take care of their families, and all those types of situations, it is not a good thing. It is not a good thing. And people are having heart attacks and they're having strokes because of that stress. And it's not a fun place to be in, you know. The nurses at my hospital work extra hard. I try not to bother them with things because I see how busy they are. That's probably very appreciated, John. That's probably very appreciated. And yeah, there's a lot of stress and pressure and responsibility on nurses. And I know some people are going to say, "Oh, well, you get paid for that." You do, but you were with being a nurse, you have people's lives in your hand. You have people's lives in your hand, and and then when at times management is demanding more than you're able to give, right? It's not a good situation. It's just not a good situation. And yes, awesome sauce. Nurses earn that pay. They absolutely do. They absolutely do. So, but we have right now. They're going to help out again. They're going to help out poor people, which is great. I think people need help. But my question is, what about, I work in long-term care 26 years. Wow, very good. That's very commendable, Fortune Cookie. That's a long time to be in long-term care. Absolutely. So, what about the average citizen that doesn't is making too much to be considered on a poverty level, even though they're barely keeping their head above water? What happens to them? What happens to them? You know, at some point, and Asif made a statement earlier that 20 million people, 20, think, I want you to think about that. 20 million, that's probably 20 million customers. is what it is. It's not 20 million people, individual people. It's probably 20 million families are looking at having. Um, love the hat. What hat? You talking about the Lucky Charms box? I don't know which one. Oh, up there, Spittoon Saloon. Yes. Hold on a second, guys. Some free advertising. I will show you that. Spittoon Saloon and Hunt Club. You ever get to West Virginia? Look them up, guys. Look them up. Good place to go and have a beer, relax, and have a good time. I don't know what you were talking about at first, but yes, that's I got you now. But yes, I did some free advertisement for the Spittoon Saloon. You get down to West Virginia, go look them up. Go and have a beer. Management's really friendly. So ask for Eric or Cody. That's who you want to ask for if you get down to the Spittoon Saloon. I just retired after 30 years of healthcare, and you are so right. People that were on our government assistance had better insurance than we did in a major hospital. Oh, I believe it, Jody. I believe it. I absolutely believe that. You know, why do you think? I'm not even going to get into that. I was going to say something, but I'll let that go. Um, yeah, it's maddening. It is maddening, and it's tough. And people on the system they're doing way better than and they don't have that stress and the pressure because they're getting their check every month. They're getting their stuff taken care of. Uh, you know, you're on that government dole, but it's just I don't know. I where like I know that I remember talking to somebody and they were showing that the equivalent with the benefits, all the benefits that people on the system get. And I'm talking about the welfare system. So I'm not talking about people on Social Security. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay. Or I'm not talking about legitimate people that are disabled. I'm not talking about them either. I'm talking about the people strictly on the welfare system that are capable of going to work, that are not going to work. Those are the ones that I'm talking about. Okay. They showed that the equivalent, if they went and got a job, what kind of yearly salary that they would have to cover all the things that they were getting for free with no stress. And it was insane. I think it was like over $50,000 a year. They would have to get a job that paid at least that to cover the benefits. So for them, it was more cost effective to stay home, not do nothing, collect those benefits, and play the system. It's sad, but it's true. I mean, I'm not making this up. It's not like something that I'm making up. But for those that are out there working every day and trying to get ahead, it gets nothing but harder and harder and harder. And so, is that okay? That's why they don't try to get off. Their standard of living goes down. Yeah, Nest Prepper, you're right. Exactly. 80K man is saying it's 76,000 with all the benefits they get. Well, I'm going back from years ago, so that doesn't surprise me that it would actually be more now. 80K man. Yeah. So why would you? Why would you? You know. But to me, there's a certain pride, I guess, and a certain not wanting to be beholden, I guess, is the right term. To them. And I don't know. I just and no social security or retirement when we get there, most likely. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like I know that if somebody hasn't worked a lot in their whole life, and when they get down to social security time, they're not getting a whole bunch. They are not getting a whole. And how do you survive on that? You know. And I know that like where my sister Margie is, she is, because she was a GM employee and she did her time at GM. She gets her GM pension, and she also gets her Social Security. So she's considered on a higher end, okay, a higher end. So she actually has to pay more than some of the people that never worked. Our old age went up and it's now 827 a month here in Canada. Yeah, and you can't survive on 827 a month. How are you going to survive on that? Realistically, how are you supposed to survive on that? So average Social Security check is 1333 a month nationwide. Yeah, but I know some people that are getting next to nothing, next to nothing. You know, and again, so at what point do we go, okay, enough is enough. We need to, do something differently because this isn't working. But there's like I said, there's a lot of high stress going on with that situation. So yeah, some people get 700 a month. You're right. You're right. I mean, there's Appalachian Angel says try 650 on disability. Yeah, that, and how are you supposed to survive when you can't realistically even get an apartment for that? You know, it's insanity. It is insanity. It's not changing, and Black Crow says our government doesn't care what happens to us. No, not for the most part. No, nope. For the most part, you are right. But Brenda McKee says that we each get our CPP as well. That depends on how many years you worked and paid into that. Then my husband has a company pension as well. That helps. That absolutely helps. But a lot of people, Brenda, made no plan for when they got older, what they were going to do to survive. I'm going to tell you. So my sister's on disability, okay, and so she, can't do a lot of things, but she gets so much a month. And when she turns 65, I think when she turns 65, it's all that she doesn't get that part anymore. She would just get Social Security after that. That was one of the reasons why I had said to her, while you're still getting a halfway decent amount of money coming in every month, I said, come here, build something. Then you got a place and you don't have to worry about it because then rent is not an issue. Then they don't have to worry about rent. So yeah, it's insanity. It is insanity. And it's like you have to plan ahead. You have to. And it's tough when you're barely keeping your head above water and when everything continues to go up and up. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? So it's really uh I'm on Social Security. Had to use my retirement savings on major surgeries, out of pocket expenses the group insurance doesn't pay for. And that's the other thing, Vicky Burke. Thank you for bringing that part up as well. So you pay this ridiculous amount of money for insurance, and then they'll have a copay on top of that for everything, for everything. And how is that even fair? I mean, I know, like my mother, when my mom goes and she sees the doctor, or so okay, I'll give an example with my mom. My mom gets insulin. All right. So she has, they call it spend down. She's got to pay out of pocket so much money before the help will kick in to help her pay for her insulin that she has to have every month, every day to survive. But they don't care about that, you know? Yeah, government only seems to care every 2 years at election time. Isn't that interesting, Asif, how that works? I'm going to tell you, and so again, I'm not a big into predictions of what's going to happen or what's not going to happen. But we have an election coming up here, right? Next week. Next week is the election. Wait until after the election and see what they have in store for us after that. Now, I'm not saying what that's going to be. I'm not making a prediction of it's going to be this, it's going to be that. But now that the election cycle will be over with, because notice how the last 6 months, everything went away. There was no more restrictions on this. There was no more restrictions on that. Now everybody wants to, you can go ahead and you can live your life and you can do what you want to do and everything's beautiful, right? Wait till after the election. That's my prediction. Wait till after the election because then they got 2 years where they can do whatever they want to do until it's election time again. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Pay attention, watch what gets done, see the games that get played, and it'll be very, very interesting to see. It will be very, very interesting to see. Um, and I won't be shocked, to be honest with you, no matter what gets thrown at us after the election time. You know, and again, let's talk about that for a second. The election, okay? And it doesn't really matter, guys. And I've talked about this too. And left, right, Republican, Democrat, whatever, wherever camp that you're in. All right, there's going to be election deniers on both sides. There's going to be people that say, "Oh, this wasn't right," or whatever the case may be. It happens all the time, right? I mean, it's just like and I'm not saying that that is going to happen. So let me just be very clear. What I'm saying is I would not be surprised. Let me put it that way. I would not be surprised if after the elections there's going to be groups on either side that say, nope, this wasn't right, this was cheated, this or that or the other thing. Uh, that would be that would be interesting. You know, that would be interesting to see what happens. But the point is that's just a small fraction of what we got that we're going to be dealing with facing after the elections. The biggest concern that I have, and you look at the government right now, is doing drills. They're doing drills to talk about what are they going to do. Now think about this. In the wintertime, if they have a week-long blackout, think about that. Think about that. That's interesting, isn't it? Week-long blackout. That would be fun, wouldn't it now? Power out, middle of winter. You're trying to stay warm, but because you live in a brand new building in New York City, right? Say you're in New York City, you got a brand new building, you moved into this awesome building, and it's all electric. No propane, no gas going in there. I bet that'll be great for them. They'll be really happy as they're freezing to death in their apartments with no power for a week. What do you do? Still got to go to work, still got to take care of stuff. So, it's just it's a no-win situation that a lot of us are in. And so you have to try to do the best that you can, plan accordingly, be as ready for whatever when that shoe drops. I would say be ready for that. What do we got? 448 in the chat, guys. We're at 192 on the thumbs up again. So if you have not shotted a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to do that to show support for the channel. And thank you ahead of time for doing so. Again, it really does make a big difference with the algorithm. So the more interaction that we have, the better it's going to be for the channel. It pushes us higher up in the rankings. Okay. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. So real quick, I want to talk about my website, preparedness1.com. We have the Preparedness One community over there, which is a resource that we've set up for you guys to be able to connect with like-minded people. Definitely take advantage of that, okay? It is free to join, does not cost anything. You do have to register, but no credit card information is asked. So definitely take advantage of that. Along with that, you can go in, check out the message boards, look for people that are close to you, and there you go. So, but also, I got to tell you about Jerry Lee here too in a, in a minute. I'll tell you what happened today with that. Um, but then also, we have the Forefathers, which is a CBD store on the website. So again, preparedness1.com. You will see the Forefathers logo. If you click on that, it will take you to their website. If you decide to make a CBD or hemp purchase, you can save 15% by using the discount code PrepperNurse1. Uh, CBD products are a great thing to have in your long-term preps. They help with a myriad of different ailments. So definitely check that out, okay? Last but not least, we have the Legacy freeze-dried food on my website. So again, preppernurse1.com, click on store. It will drop down. You'll see Legacy Foods. You click on that. It will take you to the store within the website. Again, 25-year shelf life, GMO-free, gluten options available for people that need that. It is also vegetarian, but there are beef and chicken options that can be purchased separately. It is also the largest portion size of any of the other freeze-dried food companies. So definitely take advantage of that. All right. So that is all of that. So After what happened in 2020, I've stocked up on blankets. You know what, Sonia? Not a bad idea. And I'm going to tell you what, guys, if you're stocking up on blankets, my advice to all of you would be get wool blankets. Get a nice fleece, nice soft fleece that you can put underneath, and then get a couple of wool blankets that you can put on top because they can be kind of itchy. So, wool blankets are the way to go. They are awesome. And a snuggie, exactly. 80 came. I'm going to tell you what. I told you guys I bought that one blanket. It's all super soft, and I like cocoon in it. I like wrap it all around me at night, and then I have my other blankets all on top. But yeah, definitely, definitely a good thing though. But yeah, I love that. But wool blankets are really, really good. So, all right, let's see. I expected some would have washboards. I'm not sure what I missed what that conversation was, I guess. Oh, JJ, yeah, practice Dutch oven methods. Oh, so anyways, let me tell you this real quick here before because we're gonna be like 4 minutes away from the egg count. So the minute this morning, this young lady's up, she's all on jumping on me, wanting to go out, wanting to go out. Well, guess who stayed out here overnight? Was outside. Of course, Jerry Lee. He didn't go home. He stayed here. And so out the door they go, and just like little rabbits again, doing their thing, right? So I had to run out and go do some running around today. Well, I said, I'm not taking this because I took her with me yesterday, and she was whiny, whiny, whiny like the whole time. And I love this dog to death, but that gets kind of old. And she's, in the end of her heat cycle. So I get it. I take it into perspective. So her and Jerry Lee were hanging out. I said, okay. So I got the cage right over here. Well, it's supposed to be a chicken coop, but it's going to be Hella's cage. And so I put her and Jerry Lee in the cage, closed the door, locked them in there, and me and Steve went out and did our running around today. And so they had about 3 hours where they were in that cage together. So when we got back, I came in. That dog was so tired. She was worn out. She came in, laid on the floor, went to sleep. Very, very funny. So, yeah, hopefully he's not. I haven't seen them stuck together yet, but I figured if they didn't get stuck together after being 3 hours in that cage, then something is wrong. So, who knows? We'll see. We'll see if if she starts looking like she's showing signs of showing, then we'll know. But I figured that was going to be the best shot. Confined area, let them go at it. So, you know, but we'll see what happens. I didn't want to text you during your live stream, so I'll say thank you. Here. Oh, you're fine, dude. No problem. Yeah, just do me a favor, Mark. Text me in the morning and remind me again, and then I'll get up and I'll go do that for you. All right. That's I would because otherwise it may the mind is not what it used to be. It never was. Let's put it like that. It never was. So yeah, you better write it down, Mark. You better write it down. So, but yeah, there's going to be cool things happening here at the homestead. Putting some things in place. So I will share all those with you as we get there, and it's going to be some fun stuff, some cool stuff. And I don't think Jerry Lee don't need no Viagra there, Hope King. He's good to go. Uh, Miss Movie Star says, so what's this about? Is the government going to help now with heating costs or what? What they're saying is they're only going to help the poor people under a certain level of income. That's who they're going to help. They have $13 billion of our taxpayer money, of course, and that's what they're going to do with that. They're going to help the least fortunate, if you will. Hey, Ben and Breakfast, everyone should have heated mattress pads. I even given them as gifts. You'll love it, your life um, when it's cold, and most of them are now efficient enough to run off an inverter or a battery. Oh, very cool. Yeah, like the heated mattress pads. Yep, I know what you're talking like a heated blanket type of thing. That's very cool. Yep, good advice. Thank you for sharing that information, and thank you very much for the donation as well. I do appreciate that. Yeah, low income under 53,000. Yeah, I don't think that counts as low income, but yeah, it's just they're they're going to help those people, and and make it like they're the big saviors when it's the rest of us that are going to pay for it, and the rest of us that are trying to keep our heads above water, you're not going to get any help. And the cost has gone up and up and up. The only thing that's not going up and up is your pay, right? Only your pay. But Ed, what do you think of the survival sleeping bags they advertise for $30? I'm going to tell you what. If I was anybody out there and I was looking to get a sleeping bag, what I would do, being ex-military, been out in the field, they have the mummy bags, and literally the mummy bags is you get into it and you can close it up to literally like this, only your mouth and your nose for breathing, so you're not breathing in your sleeping bag, and the rest of you is covered. It's called a mummy bag. Military surplus stores, I'm sure that they have them. They're good to sub-zero temperatures. That's what I would suggest. If you're going to get a sleeping bag, pay the extra money and get a really good one. A lot of times, the ones that they're talking for $30, they might be good down to 30 degrees. That ain't going to help you if it's really, really cold. If it's really, really cold, that's not going to help you. One piece of advice again, I'm going to remind you guys, okay? And but yeah, yeah, I used a mummy bag in Iraq. Yep, Jim. Yep, yeah, JM. Yeah, mummy bags are amazing. I did a winter cycle in Missouri, and it was cold. I mean, it was cold outside, but boy, once you got into your mummy bag, I slept like a freaking baby. I mean, I was warm as could be, warm as could be. So, but yeah, I think that you know that's the way to go. Viking Preparedness is showing one that was rated at -20 for $65 on sale. Multi-layer mummy bag. Yeah, and you know what? That type of thing, that would be good. Because again, so let's recap something here. If you live in an apartment and you're in the city and you have a one-bedroom apartment, let's say, all right. Moving blankets are also good, JJ, but a mummy bag is amazing. Get yourself a mummy bag for your sleeping bag. Get yourself a little pop-up tent, one, two-person tent, well, two-person tent, right? If we have a power outage and you are in the city, you can put that tent up in a room, go into that tent, and then have, you're sleeping in that tent. Your air that you're breathing is going to help keep that tent warmer. It's going to keep that heat in that area. So that is another thing. So that is what you definitely want to do. You know, you definitely want to do that. So you can put a tent up in a room, and it's going to really help when you're sleeping, trying to conserve your calories and your energy, especially if there's a power outage. It will get really, really cold. Those apartment complexes and those type of buildings, they are not insulated the way that they should be. So get your wool blankets, you know, get those things, planning ahead. If you are properly planned ahead for a situation that may happen. Now, let's put it like this. Guaranteed. This I guarantee you, guaranteed 100. There's a prediction I'm going to give you 100% that will come true this winter. There will be power outages this winter in the Northeast. I guarantee you that there will be power outages. Okay. If you plan properly, yes, make sure you insulate or layering for insulation. Yep, t-shirt underneath, and then do that type of thing. Layer up that way. Keep your core, because what happens is when your core becomes cold, all the blood from your fingers and your feet and your hands, that's all going to go back into the core to keep your heart working and keep your heart going. If you plan properly ahead of time, and put yourself in a situation that, okay, maybe you're not allowed to have a wood stove, maybe you're not allowed to have a propane heater, and all those type of things in an apartment. A lot of people can't, but you can have a mummy bag, you can have a small tent that you can put up in your apartment. You can make sure you get wool blankets. That you absolutely can do. Wool socks, like long johns, layers of clothing. Make sure you're doing that. Keep that core warm. Keep your extremities warm with a good pair of gloves, good socks. Wintertime, regular pair of socks, then a wool pair of socks over that. You keep your feet warm. You definitely do not want to deal with frostbite. And then if you have to go outside, right? Because what are you going to do? If there's a power outage and the toilets aren't working and all that type of stuff, what are you doing then? What are you doing? And then if you need water and all that type of stuff, I mean, it's just there is, but if you are prepared for what ifs, and again, we know without a doubt the region is usually defined to include 9 U.S. states: Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Vermont. Yeah, yep. And that area of the country right there will guaranteed be seeing power outages. Gonna happen. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Then you get out into, South Dakota, North Dakota, all those areas, Minnesota, Chicago. They're going to have power outages as well. Or Illinois, sorry, I'm thinking of the city, Chicago, Illinois as well. But all those areas up there, they're definitely going to have power outages as well. Look what happened a couple years ago, down in Texas. They had the freeze happen down there, and nobody had winterized their pipes because they never needed to. But because they had that happen, their pipes froze. Things happened, and then they had a disaster on their hands. Oh God, we are like way, way beyond egg count time, guys. Look at me flapping away here. I didn't even realize. All right, let's do this. Let's go ahead and do egg count. I apologize, my bad. You got me on a roll though. I want people to be safe. I want people to be ready. Okay. So what is our egg count, guys? How many eggs? And yes or no for thick neck? So I'll give you guys a moment to get your guesses. Let you get your guesses up there. And I apologize for getting off there. So, all right. So the first one with the correct guess tonight, and this is not her first time being a winner here on the live stream. Janet Humphrey with 3 eggs and no thick neck. She was the first one to get it right. Sharon Barrett also had it right. And there was uh, Debbie McKee, I believe, also were the first 3 that I saw all had it. But Janet was first. So congratulations to Janet. You are the winner of absolutely nothing. You are the 2-time winner of absolutely nothing. So, so anyway, but yeah, so there, like I said, thick neck is looking really a lot better. Her neck feathers are all growing back. She's looking much, much more peppy. We may get some eggs out of her again before it really gets cold. I don't know yet. We'll have to see. Uh, like I said, she is a fair weather layer for sure. And so, she does not like to or lay when it's cold. So we'll see what happens with that. But so anyway, so I'm sorry that was like that far off. It happens though. But no, I really want people to think about, plan ahead, be ready for the winter time. Now I'm going to tell you, for me, I have long johns, I have wool socks, I have wool blankets. Like I said, I got my nice blanket that I'm going to wrap myself in. We'll have layers of blankets, so I will definitely be doing that. And do you have experience burning applewood trees? Got one that needs to get cut down in the back. Applewood is a really good tree. Apple trees are good to burn. Smell really good when you burn them. How about that Powerball? Yeah, 1.2 billion. It'll end up being higher. They added $200 million onto that after nobody won when it was a billion. So I think you'll see that being even higher than that because I'm sure people are buying them like absolute crazy right now. But yeah, like I know my sister uses a heating blanket. You know, yeah, I bought two. I always play the same amount. If it's 100 million or if it's 100 billion, I'll buy $4 worth, and that's it. So got to be in it to win it, and it's they don't call it a dollar and a dream for nothing. So uh, yeah, and if any of you go out and get your tickets because you saw it on here, make sure and you win, make sure you take care of Prepper Nurse One. Let's see. But again, be prepared, folks. Be as ready as you can be. You know, if you can have a propane heater, get a propane heater. You know that you could use a little bit here and there, take that edge off. But yeah, 10% for the big guy. There you go. That's funny. Uh, but again, just if you're ready, who knows what's going to happen. Don't be in a situation like a lot of people will be in, where they're running around like a chicken with their heads cut off, looking to get that generator, looking to get anything that they can buy to stay warm after the event happens. Don't be that person. Be ready. Have enough propane back up on hand if you want to, and go from there. I think that's probably the smartest way to do anything like that. You know, so yeah. Too bad we're not foreign, right? If we were another country, they would take care of us and give us billions, billions and billions of dollars, and then we could, you know, that burned my toast, guys. I'll tell you. That's a grandfather saying there, by the way. That burns my toast. But Ed, how do you pick your Powerball numbers? I go, give me a quick pick. That's how I pick them. That's how I pick them. When we have people that are suffering in the United States of America, we should not be supporting in financing other countries. Should not be doing it. That goes right down to Israel, Ukraine, anybody else that we're giving money to for whatever reason. You know, we need to take care of our own. That's who we need to be worried about. And if you know, if you feel, oh well, we're obligated to help people. We're not obligated to do squat. We should be taking care of our own people first. Did you ever hear that saying, "Charity begins at home"? Well, let's take care of our own people. That's who really needs the help. There's a lot of people, guys. I'm going to tell you what. Between and so Asif put that number up that 20 million, you know, are on the precipice of having their power shut off because they can't pay their bills. Now let's throw on top of that. Let's throw on top of that all the foreclosures that's going on right now that you're not hearing about in the news, right? All the people that are having their homes foreclosed on. Also, all the people that are being evicted because they never paid their rent for 2 years because of the event, and so they're all going to be out on the street. Where are all those people going? What are they going to do? And so those are things that people need to think about. Yes, I know we now have boots on the ground in Ukraine. Yep, yep. Looking for the missing weapons. Oh, I'm sure that those didn't just disappear and somebody sold them and made a ton of money on them. I'm sure that didn't happen. I mean, why would I even mention that? Something like that. Corruption in governments? No. They're so honest. They would never they would never lie to us. Trust me, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Woo, scary words. Scary, scary words. So I got to tell you what's going to be happening here. Um, so my folder that I had here in West Virginia, I have no idea where it is. I set it down somewhere and I have no idea where it is. So when we do the shout outs tonight, I'm going to have to wing it again for right now. And then what I'm going to have to do is go back to one of my old live streams, rewrite it down on a new ledger. I have a new ledger that I grabbed. I have no idea what I did. I absolutely no idea what I did with the other ledger. I have no idea where it is. I've been looking for it like crazy, and I have no idea where it is. So I'm gonna have to go back and listen to one of my old live streams and write them all down again. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So yeah, so tonight, uh, yeah, the creepy doll has it. Yes, little Steve, he has it up and he's hiding it up in the big Eric's big blue house. No, I didn't leave it in New York, Sue. No, I never took it with me. I never took it with me. So, oh, it'll be in the last place I look. Yeah, I mean, so I looked all around where I might have set it down on something outside. Not there. Looked all through the battery room. Not there. No idea. No idea. Because Steve had taken it and because he needed a couple pieces of paper, so I had given it to him for that reason. And then he had handed it back to me, and somewhere between Eric's Big Blue House and here, I have to have set it down someplace. And yeah, I'll find it as soon as I replace the list. Well, if I replace the list, what I'll do, I will take that list up to New York then. Maybe I'll make two lists. One that I'll take up to New York. That'd be scary, right? Could it be under the seat in your truck? I don't know, Delbert. I'll have to look in the truck. I don't think so, but yeah, I just no. That's something totally different. But yeah, I have no idea what I did with it. So I looked a little bit today, but I really got to just like go back to the blue house, look everything there, then just work my way up. So, but anyway, so I have no idea where that is. So we're gonna have to wing the shout outs once again tonight until I can sit down, go back and figure, either get the list off of one of my old videos and just kind of go from there. So, all right, let's do shout outs. All right. So, first of all, we have Icky Can up in Canada. So, he is a good guy. I would ask you to support him. You have Angry Prepper down in New York City. Jason is an awesome dude. And so, definitely show him some support as well. You also have Alaska Prepper with Rudy. There is Alaska Granny. Then you have, see, it's like as far as the list that I remember. There is Sean James with the Sean James channel and My Self Reliance, two good channels, same guy. Definitely check him out as well. You have Bjorn Hansen. There's Corporal's Corner. You have Magic Prepper out in North Dakota. There is Pinball Preparedness, Patera with Appalachian Homestead, Simple Life Reclaimed. There is Marfugal News with Adam and Dax out on the West Coast, Deep South Homestead. You have 80K Man up in the Adirondacks. You have North Shore Preparedness also up in Canada. Let's see. Mary Greeley News is another one. Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. There is the Nomadic Movement down in Panama, another young couple out there. East Tennessee Preparedness. Ryan Hall, y'all, with the weather, another really good channel. Definitely like what he's doing. You have Russell Brand, love Russell Brand as well. You have Steve Wallace with Camping with Steve, so definitely check him out as well. You have the Needy Homesteader, another really good channel. There's the Fit Farmer. You have, let's see, the Nomadic Movement, like I said, down in Panama. There is Kyle's Cabin is another really good one. Bush Radical, Girl in the Woods, husband and wife team. Half their time in Michigan, the other half of the time up in Alaska. You have Doug and Stacy. There is Prep Rebel. You have Little House Off Gritty. Let's see. Wrangle Star is another really good channel. You have Survival Lily. I'm trying to think if I'm thinking if I'm missing anybody. I already did East Tennessee preparedness. Oh, Southern Prepper One is another really good channel. Uh, and let's see. I'm trying to think if I can remember if there's anybody else that I'm missing. Adapt 2030, Suspicious Observer is another one. The Economic Ninja. Yes, thank you, Asif, for that one. Uh, there is The Uneducated Economist is another one. Bushcraft Bear in the Canary Islands in La Palma. Yes, thank you for that one. Uh, so anyway, so that's it for the shout outs. Boss of the Swamp. Yes, Boss of the Swamp. Thank you. So, a lot of good channels out there, a lot of good information. We should absolutely be supporting each other, and I think that that is important to do so. So check. Oh, Joe with St. Bernard Acres. I did not mention Joe with St. Bernard Acres, and but a lot of good information out there. People look at things differently, and I think that that is a good thing. It keeps people thinking, which is also a good thing. So definitely check that out. Okay, so. All right. Oh, yes. And Heather's Etsy account. Heather does her Etsy account as well, which, again, JJ will throw the link up there for that as well. And so she does jewelry and she also does crocheting and does that type of thing. So she really enjoys doing that as well. So definitely check that out. And too many more to mention. Yeah, exactly. A lot of folks, a lot of good channels. There's a lot of good information. Oh, the Green Dream Project. I did not mention them as well. Out in Arizona, they got a really good channel out there as well. So a lot of good information. Gives you an idea looking at how other people do things, which I think is a cool thing. So definitely check those out as well. All right. So moving forward, yeah, I got to do something with that. I got to go back, listen to an old video, write them down again, and make two lists. So yes, Heather has lots of handcrafted items. Yeah, she sure does. And she's doing real good at her job. She really enjoys her job, which is a good thing. And I think that that is important. You know, you gotta like what you do, and she's definitely enjoying what she's doing right now. So, Miss Hella, the entire stream tonight, I gave her a bone just before I started the stream, and so she has been working on that bone ever since. So that's why she has not bothered us tonight during the live stream. I know she was still tired as well because she, like I said, she was out with him and they were doing their thing. It was so funny. I mean, just to watch them, it was like she's standing there like, yeah, okay, whatever, and he's going to town. So, hey, Hunter guy, I was told it isn't economical to go after preppers during SHTF, but super organized groups will be targeted to prevent people from becoming local or other groups instead of depending on the U.S. What are my thoughts? That is a great question. Uh, I think what you're going to see in the case of a worst case scenario, I don't believe they're going to go after individual preppers to start with. No, I don't think so because they were going to go after factories. They're going to go after distribution centers to control whatever food and those type of things that are there. So first of all, thank you for the question and thank you for the donation as well. But they definitely are not going to want people to get organized. And if you have, organized groups, really organized groups that have, like, if you guys remember, there was a group that was, I think they were in Texas, and they were talking, they had a date that on this date, SHTF is going to happen, the end of the world is going to happen. And they had a compound someplace in Texas and they had like tractor trailers full of food and all kinds of stuff. And so that date came, and you saw nothing. I mean, they were all in that compound someplace, this whole group of everything. And you were wondering what the noise was in the background. Yeah, that's her chewing the bone. That's what she's been doing the whole stream. Um, but so but yeah, and then SHTF didn't happen. So there was and I never really heard what happened after that. But that is a very, very organized group. Like David Koresh is be another example of a very organized group. They don't want people to have like a compound where everybody's living, and they're going to try to break those up if they can, either infiltrate them, cause problems, dissension in the group, all those type of things. That happens constantly. So, you know, they don't. It would be difficult in a post situation to really control that, really control that. Yeah, but I think now there are, let's put it like this, guys. There's armed groups out there. There's militia groups out there that are, planning what, they may not be looking to actively overthrow the government, but they are definitely looking to control their area of where they're at after an event goes down. So those type of groups might be on lists of potential threats, if you will. That would not surprise me. But again, it would depend on how big the group was. Uh, what about the Muslim compounds that are in the country? Well, there's more, Jay. There's more than just Muslim compounds out there in the country. You have your white extremists. You have, your skinhead groups. You have your there's the Black Nation Army or whatever the heck they call themselves. If you remember that, where they were marching and they were all armed to the teeth. So you have other groups out there as well as. So it's not just Muslim compounds. So let's not go into, oh my God, the scary Muslims are all going to take over everything. There's plenty other people out there that we all should be worried about, all of us, because if we don't go along with the ideology of that group, then we are a threat. Think about that. And it doesn't matter, and it don't matter if you're white, if you're black, if you're red, if you're yellow. If you are not part of that group or organization and go along with the tenets of what they believe, you are the enemy. So that's something to think about as well. I think that there are groups out there that plan to help after an event. Let's put it like this. I would hope that there would be people out there that would be doing that. But there will be people out there. There will be groups that will take a territory and carve out a territory and do what they want to do because they have the muscle, the support, the power to be able to do that. I'll tell you what. Me personally, with what I'm doing down here, what we would do in our area down here, we would be helping our neighbors. That's my intention, is to be able to help people, to keep our community safe from other people coming in trying to cause trouble. And I think what you would see in a lot of small towns and in a lot of areas, you would see groups come together like that because it's for the greater good of the community, and they'll work on keeping their community safe. And I think you're going to see that. And but I'll tell you what, the last place you're going to really want to go in a true SHTF situation and looking for trouble is up in the mountains, isolated areas, because those folks are going to work together. They're going to work together. So that's my take on it. I hope that answers your question. Again, thank you for that comment. So let's do this, guys. We are Legion because we are many. We are all over the country. We're all over the world. Where is everybody from tonight? So let us do that next. We have BC, Canada, the Pennsylvania Wilds, Franklin County, Ohio, Massachusetts. I said that wrong completely. Ulster Park, New York, Tennessee, Connecticut, Nowhere, Oklahoma, Bumstead, Florida, Southwest Iowa, Waterloo, New York, Michigan, Northern Michigan, Ontario, Erin, Tennessee, South Carolina, Western New York, Ozark in the Mountains, Wisconsin, Central Kentucky, let's see, Indiana, Leesburg, Florida, Central Iowa, North Carolina, Florida, Virginia, Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Is that better? Uh, Nameless, Tennessee. In the UK, we got Ann watching from over across the pond. Verone, BC, Canada. Fort Worth, Texas. Western Kentucky, Texas. Inverness, Florida. With Clyde is in the house. Las Vegas, Nevada. Kansas. Campbell, Missouri. Pennsylvania. Southwest Coast, Victoria, Australia. Way across the pond. So glad to have you here. Gatlin, Pennsylvania. Charlotte County, Florida. Solva, Kentucky. Prescott, Arizona, Georgia, Florida Central East Coast, Maple Grove, Minnesota, Valley of the Sun, Arizona, Troutville, Virginia, Tennessee, South Jersey's in the house, All Seeing Cat, Concord, New Hampshire, Ontario, Canada, with Mary's in the house, Edgewater, Florida, Central Indiana. So again, once again, all over the freaking place, all over the country, a huge, huge network of people. We got Oregon's in the house, Florida, Waco, Texas. So, we're all over the place, guys. We're a huge network of people. We're the ones that can truly make a difference now. And after an event, we will absolutely be in a position to make a difference then as well. You done with your bone? All done with your bone now? Yeah, you big baby. So, anyway, I do want a quick reminder. I'm going to be live streaming tomorrow night for my hardcore preppers at 8 o'clock tomorrow night because, I wasn't able to do it Monday because I was driving. So, if you are one of my hardcore preppers, then tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, we will be doing a live stream for you guys. If you want to be part of that, go to my main page, hit the join button. You will see the 3 levels of membership. If you become a hardcore prepper, I do the live stream once a week for you guys. So definitely check that out. We have Bay of Islands, Newfoundland, Canada. Very nice. Very, very nice. Got Memphis is in the house as well. So again, guys, we're all over the place. And if we ever really truly got organized, boy, that's a lot of muscle. That's a lot of power that we could yield. A lot of power we could yield. And I think that scares the government as well. Could you imagine an organized group of people that were prepared for any disaster that were all working together? Wow, that would be frightening to the government, don't you think? Yes, it would be. So, anyway, guys, yeah, like I said, we just I want to continue to encourage you as always to continue to prep, continue to get ready. Every season brings different priorities that need to be addressed and taken care of, and I think we should try to do that as much as we possibly can. There's so much that can happen, and so we need to be prepared for those things. And so, the more ready we are, the better off we're going to be. The more self-sufficient we can be, the better off we're going to be. So, let's just continue to do that. Just keep doing what you can do, control what you can control, be as ready as you can, and you're going to be in a much, much better situation. So, anyway, I want to thank my moderators who do an absolutely fantastic job keeping the chat clean. So, thank you very much, guys, for doing that. It's very much appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen that moderate for me, it means a lot. Also, I want to thank all you guys for being here because without all you guys being here, then I'm not here either. So it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy these streams. We have good questions, a lot to talk about, which is cool as well. And I think that that is a good thing, you know. Yep, All Seeing Cat says slow and steady wins the race. That's an Alaska prepper. Okay, but he's right. Slow and steady wins the race. Keep doing what you can day by day, and before you know it, you will have a lot of preps available to you. Um, like I said again, just take care of what you can take care of, and you're going to be in much, much better shape. So, anyway, guys, remember we are all in this together. We are one race called the human race. And so, what do I mean by that, right? We all bleed red. It doesn't matter what religion we are, it doesn't matter what race we are. It doesn't matter what our political affiliation is. It doesn't matter if we've been vaccinated or not. None of that matters because all that means nothing. That is a tool that is used to keep us all divided. And if we continue to let them divide us, we will never come together to deal with the true issue, which is big government and big business, which controls everything. Imagine that. They control everything or try to. So try to be as self-sufficient as you can. Try to work together. Put the petty, stupid stuff behind us. Let's come together and do something good. All right. Remember, guys, also to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it is really, really important to tell the people that we care about every single day how we feel. And last but not least, folks, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you are trying to do, whatever you are trying to accomplish in life, there's only one person that can stop you from achieving realistic goals. You got to be realistic goals. Set realistic goals and then set about to making them happen. And the only one that's going to stop you from getting there is you. That's it. Nobody else. Stay away from the negativity. Stay away from negative people that tell you what you cannot do, what you cannot accomplish. If you stay away from them, you're going to be just fine. All right. That's all we can do. Life is so short. It can be pleasant or it can be miserable, and it's choice. In my opinion, it's an absolute choice. I try to have, be appreciative of every day that I'm here, and every day that I get is another day that I can continue to get ready, continue to prep, and be able to take care of what I need to take care of. So I will see you all later. I hope you all have a wonderful night. I will. I'm not sure if the bunker video will be the 3 o'clock video or the afternoon video. That I don't know yet. So, or the 7 o'clock. So one will be up at 3. I generally try to get the bunker video up at 3, but that may not happen at 3. That may be the 7 o'clock video. So you'll see tomorrow, right? All right. I will see you all later. Have a great night. Prepper Nurse One out for now.